Yeah, obviously I know Luke's got a lot to defend this year. But yeah, I know, like I said, I know he's got a lot to defend, but I've got to focus on myself, get my ranking money up. But I think me and Luke I think we're okay for the World Cup.
Luke Littler just did something that flipped the darts world upside down, and if you thought Luke Humphries had this year locked down, think again.
Luke Humphries is just unbelievable. You know what I mean? He's a top man. You've got Michael van Gerwen, who's number 2. You know, these lads aren't going to give it up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it doesn't matter how much Luke Littler can do. He's got to knock these boys.
Humphries, the reigning world champion, has been dominant, methodical, and cool under pressure. But Littler, he's the storm that doesn't care about rankings, reputations, or history. And once again, he's stolen the spotlight in a way that has even darts legends shaking their heads in disbelief. Simon Whitlock, one of the sport's biggest names, has weighed in, saying Humphries deserves more love. But that's easier said than done when Littler keeps rewriting the script, as these two have dominated the game, trading titles and making history. But now, heading into 2025, the game is about to get even tougher. And if you think the old guard, guys like Peter Wright and Michael van Gerwen, are just going to sit back and watch.
Boys off the perch and everything, and at the end of the day, they are top players, and Luke Humphries is our champion, and that's it.
Then you have to rethink that, because what Littler just pulled off, it's not just another win, it changes everything. Darts has exploded over the last 12 months, and Littler is at the center of it all. His rise from teenage sensation to global superstar is being about rewriting the script of the sport itself. Luke Humphries has been the best player in the world on paper, but paper doesn't win titles. Sure, Humphries had a dream year in 2024, World Match Play, Players' Championship Finals, and a runner-up finish in both the Premier League and UK Open. But somehow, despite all of that, the spotlight belongs to someone else, and he's Luke Littler. Simon Whitlock, a darts legend in his own right, put it bluntly, Humphries deserves more love. But how do you compete with a teenager who's taking over the sport like a storm nobody saw coming? Premier League champion, World Series Finals champion, Grand Slam champion, and then, in a moment that shattered every record in the book, the youngest world champion in history at just 17, toppling none other than Michael van Gerwen. And Humphries, he's still number 1 in the rankings, but in the eyes of the fans, the headlines, the sponsors, it's Littler's world now. Even Whitlock admitted it. Darts has changed. The two Lukes have taken over the world, he said. And let's be real, it is a little weird. Two guys named Luke, both dominating the sport, but only one of them getting the rockstar treatment. It's crazy. I feel a little bit bad for Humphries because all the hype has been for Luke Littler. He deserved more for what he has done. As Littler's rise has been perfectly synchronized with darts' explosion in popularity. He's the fresh-faced prodigy, the fearless teenager who makes the impossible look routine. But let's not pretend Littler's success is a fluke. This isn't just a case of hype running wild. Whitlock knows firsthand how dangerous the kid is because he's faced him a lot. During lockdown, I played him so many times. He was 13 or 14 at the time. The crazy thing was, I beat him every time back then, Whitlock recalled. That dominance didn't last long. Fast forward to the Pro Tour, and the tables had turned. I played him in a playoff for the European Championships. I lost 6-5 through a 9-darter against him, and I still lost with a 101 average. Let that sink in. A perfect leg of darts, a triple-digit average, and it still wasn't enough to beat Littler. That's the kind of player we're talking about. That's why the world is obsessed. With Wright already proving he can take down top-ranked players like Humphries, the competition at the highest level is set to be fiercer than ever in 2025.
Luke now being world champion, he's got a big target on his back.
Littler's meteoric rise has added another layer of unpredictability, but seasoned veterans like Wright and van Gerwen won't go down without a fight. The world sees Taylor as one of darts' all-time best players, who predicts the upcoming pressure on these two young talents will keep building up. The thing about being at the top is that everyone wants to take you down. Luke Littler is the man to beat right now, but with players like Wright and van Gerwen hungry to reclaim dominance, he's going to have to keep proving himself. Littler has accepted the challenge, brushing off criticism from rivals while maintaining his focus, and this has been true when he faced the best of the best. Time and time again, Luke Littler has proven that no deficit is too great, no opponent too formidable, and no stage too overwhelming. His Night 2 triumph in Glasgow was a statement. Against Rob Cross, it looked like he was done. 5-1 down, match darts against him, but Littler flipped the script, launching a sensational comeback that left the crowd stunned and his opponent reeling. Then came Van Gerwen, the man who had outdueled him in Belfast. This time, there was no stopping Littler. He dispatched the Dutchman with authority, evening the score in their Premier League encounters. And then, the final, the world's top two, face to face with everything on the line. With the Glasgow crowd in full voice, Littler stayed composed, delivering a 6-5 win and announcing himself in this year's Premier League with his first nightly triumph. One of the biggest moments of the match was Littler's stunning 170 checkout, the legendary Big Fish, which left the crowd in awe. Humphries came close to landing one himself in the 8th leg, but it wasn't meant to be. When the pressure was at its highest, Littler stayed calm and did what champions do. He found a way to win. After making a mistake in the 9th leg, it looked like Humphries had the upper hand. The crowd was loud, making things even tougher for both players. At one point, the referee even had to tell a fan to stop whistling. But Littler didn't let it shake him. He broke back in the 10th leg, giving himself the chance to throw for the win. And he didn't miss. With his final dart landing perfectly, Littler secured his first Premier League night win of the season. It was a hard-fought battle, but he proved once again why he's the world champion, as Littler dominated from start to finish and booked his place in the final.
But I think Luke Humphries and Luke Littler are probably, for me, the two best players on the planet at the moment.
Meanwhile, Humphries had to dig deep to make it that far. He found himself trailing 4-2 in both of his matches, but battled back each time, defeating Chris Dobey and then Gerwin Price to set up the showdown with Littler. Despite dealing with a finger injury and crowd disturbances, Luke Humphries has confirmed he will return to action next week in Dublin. As the world #1 had to battle more than just his opponent, he suffered a cut on his finger before the match, forcing him to wipe away blood after every throw. Taking to social media, Humphries explained what happened. A difficult night all round, and I just fell short in the end. An unexpected finger injury didn't help either. Fair play to Luke Littler, and I'll be back next week to do it all again in Dublin. When asked how he got injured, he revealed, "Pulled my dart out the practice board and cut it on the wires, then it just wouldn't stop bleeding." On top of the injury, Humphries and Littler also had to deal with disruptive crowd behaviour at Glasgow's OVO Hydro Arena. Both players were clearly frustrated as some fans continued whistling throughout the match, though Luke Littler later admitted that the intervention only seemed to make things worse. In response to the controversy, the PDC issued a firm statement condemning disruptive behaviour from spectators. The PDC wishes to strongly reiterate that it does not condone any behaviour which can disrupt an event, such as whistling or booing when players are throwing, the statement read. They stressed that players step onto the stage with one goal, to perform at their best and put on a great show for fans, whether inside the venue or watching from home. The organisation also reminded spectators that inappropriate behaviour won't be tolerated. According to the event's terms and conditions, anyone who disrupts the match could be removed from the venue. The PDC works closely with Premier League venues who have responsibility for crowd control to take proactive and decisive action against those who behave inappropriately. While the majority of darts fans are respectful and passionate about the sport, the PDC acknowledge that incidents like this are widely condemned by true supporters, and we will continue to promote a positive atmosphere which gives all players the opportunity to play to the best of their ability in every match. While most darts fans take pride in creating an electric yet respectful atmosphere, the disruptions in Glasgow overshadowed what was otherwise a thrilling night of action. Whistling disrupting darts matches is nothing new. The issue has surfaced multiple times, most notably during the 2024 Premier League when it affected Luke Humphries and Michael Smith. It also played a role in the Grand Slam last November, where Mike De Decker faced similar distractions during his match against Luke Littler. During that Grand Slam match, De Decker requested that the referee intervene after the Wolverhampton crowd continuously whistled whenever he aimed for a double. However, his plea was ignored, leaving him to deal with the disruption alone. On Thursday night in Glasgow, the problem resurfaced. A heckler's persistent whistling led to frustration for both Humphries and Gerwin Price, prompting referee Kirk Bevins to call for silence. Unfortunately, his attempt only seemed to aggravate the situation. Littler, who went on to win the match, later admitted that the referee's intervention made things worse. "Kirk told him to be quiet and it got even worse," Littler explained. "Then I missed doubles and Luke breaks at 5-4. I was just like, Kirk, you've made it worse for me there. I'm 5-4 down." This isn't the first time a referee's attempt to control the crowd has backfired. John McDonald, another well-known official, once addressed fans about whistling during a break, only for the behavior to escalate. Even Bevans acknowledged the difficulty in handling the issue, stating on social media, "If you see someone whistling, report it to security and get them kicked out." Moving on to Dublin, emotions ran high again, this time for Luke Littler. The young sensation suffered another setback against Gerwyn Price, losing 6-4 in the quarter-finals. Price, 39, seems to have Littler's number, making it 4 straight wins against the 18-year-old. The Welshman's last loss to Littler came nearly a year ago in Liverpool. The reigning world champion left the match empty-handed after failing to pick up any points, just a week after his 5-point triumph in Glasgow. As he exited the stage, frustration got the better of him. Littler was seen angrily tossing his darts case to the ground and muttering under his breath. Adding to the tension, Littler was unimpressed with Price's pre-match remarks. The Welshman had stated that if he brought his A game, he would win, something that clearly didn't sit well with the teenage star. The match saw its fair share of drama, particularly in the 6th leg when Littler capitalized on 2 missed darts from Price to cut the deficit to 4-2. As he secured the leg, he turned to the crowd with a calm down gesture, his response to Price's earlier roaring celebration. But despite Littler's efforts, Price wasn't to be denied. The Welshman sealed victory with a double top, setting up a semi-final clash against Luke Humphries. Luke Littler may have lost the match, but make no mistake, this was just a minor setback in a much bigger journey. His eyes are locked on a greater prize, and anyone thinking he's out of the race is in for a rude awakening. And if Luke Humphries thought his reign at the top was secure, he might want to think again, because Littler is coming for the #1 spot and making it clear that it's only a matter of time before he gets there. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more darts updates, and drop a comment below. Do you think Luke Littler will take the #1 spot soon? Let us know your thoughts.